29 and 30. Let both grow together unto the harvest. Who is the both? Jacob and Esau. That's the both. And in the time of harvest I will say to the reapers, gather ye together their first, the tares, and bind them in bundles to burn them. But gather the wheat into my barn. Who is the wheat? Genesis 25 and 21. And Isaac entreated the Most High for his wife, because she was barren. And the Most High was entreated of him. And Rebekah his wife conceived. And the children, who are the children? We're going to read about it. Struggled together within her. And she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Most High. And the Most High said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb. So this is the foundation of these nations. This is the foundation. From the beginning of the foundations of the earth, these are the 2 foundations. And the Most High said unto her, 2 nations, 2, are in thy womb. And 2 manner of people, 2 different people shall be separated from the bowels. And the one people shall be stronger than the other people. And the elder shall serve the younger. Okay? And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. The whole Bible are about these 2 people. Everything is about these 2 people. And the first came out red, like the red horse, the red dragon. This child came out red. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment. And they called his name Joshua, Esau. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. So he was 60 years old. So the whole Bible is hanging on these 2 people. Okay? It's all about Jacob and Esau. Let's go to Psalms 50. The book of Psalms, chapter 50, verse 16. But unto the wicked the Most High saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth? Seeing thou hatest instruction, and casteth my word behind thee. What did Esau do? Casteth the Most High's words behind him. Casteth his inheritance behind him. Casteth his heritage behind him. When thou sawest a thief, then thou consentest with him, and hast been partakers with adulterers. Thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit. Thou sittest and speakest against thy brother. Thou slanderest thine own mother's son. Did not Esau slander his brother in Genesis chapter 27? Let's go there. Genesis 27. Genesis 27, verse 41. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing, wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. And that's what he did. By casting the words behind him, by partaking with adulterers, that's what he did. And these words of Esau, her elder son, were told to Rebekah. And she sent and called Jacob her younger son, and said unto him, behold, thy brother Esau, as touching thee, doth comfort himself, purposing to kill thee. Okay? So here we have Esau purposing to kill Jacob. Now we have a whole chapter of Esau in chapter 36. No other nation has an entire chapter other than Jacob in the Bible. Only Esau and Jacob have their own chapters that break down their lineages in. Okay? It says, now these are the generations of Esau, who is Edom. Esau took his wives of the daughters of Canaan, All right, so now he's going against his father's will, so we know who Esau is. Okay, so let's see if we could determine if Esau is the so-called white man. Let's go to Malachi. In the book of Malachi, and you have to know these precepts. In the book of Malachi it says, Malachi 1 and 3, and I hated Esau and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Who's going to rebuild them? Edom. All these cities that have been bombed and taken over, they all been rebuilt by Edom. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Most High hath indignation forever. So that goes beyond just the man, Esau. That goes into his lineage. That goes all the way to now. The border of wickedness and the people against whom the Most High have indignation forever. Forever. There is no helping this man. He's done. You see what the Bible says? This is not my words. Do you see that? Indignation forever. So understand what you read us. So let's go to 2nd Ezra. If Esau is going to be the border of wickedness and the indignation is going to reside there forever, then look. This is 2nd Ezra in the Apocrypha, chapter 6, verse 8. And he said unto me, from Abraham unto Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born of him, Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Have Jacob been restored? No. Has Esau been restored? Yes. The people who rule the earth, the people who rule UN, the people who rule the IMF, the people who rule the Vatican, these are the people of Esau. They rule the entire earth. They own all or every corporation known to man, and it all came from the hands of slavery. Slavery using Jacob. Okay? The biggest corporations like Zales, Neiman Marcus, all those companies come from slavery that Esau pushed our hands to pick cotton. Okay? And more than that. This is the hand of man is betwixt the heel and the hand. You hear that? So this is the end of the world. You wonder why in this country all you see is black and white. This is other questions, Ezra, asked thou not. So now, being that said, so if Esau is the end of the world, Psalms 83, as we read, for they have consulted, verse 5, for they have consulted together with one consent. Who? Esau. Every courthouse in the whole earth, on the whole earth, is one courthouse. They all stand for the same thing. Not God's laws, but for Esau's laws. It says, for they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee. The tabernacles of Edom is the first people that is spoken of. That's why I put Genesis chapter 36. Their nation runs the whole earth. And then all the heathen nations follow behind Edom. Edom is the king over all the heathen nations. The tabernacles of Edom, the Ishmaelites, of Moab, and the Hagarenes. Now, some brothers say the tabernacles of Edom is Ishmaelites. No, two different nations. Edom is the white man. Ishmael are the Arabs. Two different people. All right. Of Moab. Moab didn't come out of Ishmael. Moab is his own nation. It's the Chinese. And the Hagarenes, they came out of Elam, the East Indians. So as we go on, every nation stimulates from Edom. So if Jacob was ruling All these heathen nations will be what? Up under Jacob. And Edom will be last, but Edom is going to be burnt up. According to the book of Obadiah, there are going to be no more. Remember what Malachi said. To the indignation forever. Forever. Forever, ever? Forever, ever? Yes, forever. Indignation forever. Indignation forever. All right? So look at Obadiah 1 and 18. I'll read 17. But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions. Whose possessions? All of Edom's possessions, and all the nations below them. It says, and the house of Jacob shall be for a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble. Stubble, meaning dirt, nothing. And they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for the Most High have spoken it. Now let's go back to Matthew 13. If they're going to be for nothing, if you don't want to believe me, let's go back to the scriptures and remember what I said about this particular scripture. Matthew 13 and 30. Let both grow together until the harvest. So Jacob and Esau are growing together. How? Go one more precept. Let's go to 2nd Ezra in the Apocrypha. And let's go to the 3rd chapter. 2nd Ezra in 3. 2nd Ezra 3. And let's go to verse 16. 2nd Ezra chapter 3 verse 16. And unto him thou gavest Isaac, and unto Isaac also thou gavest Jacob and Esau. As for Jacob, thou didst choose him to you, and put by Esau. Where did he put Jacob? By Esau. This is how we know that the Negroes are the Israelites. This is how we know that Esau is a so-called white man. And so Jacob became a great multitude. And it came to pass that when thou leddest his seed out of Egypt, thou broughtest them up to the Mount of Sinai. So the Most High is going to bless us again. He's going to retrieve us from the hand of Esau. Okay? Remember, Esau took us into captivity. Where is that in the Bible? How can you prove that? How can you prove that Esau took us into captivity? Let's go to the book of Lamentations. Let's go to Lamentations. Well, let's prove it. Lamentations. And let's go to 4 verse 22. Lamentations 4 and 22. 4 and 21, let's see. Rejoice and be glad, O daughter of Edom. Daughter means the new generation of that particular progenitor. All right? That dwelleth in the land of Uz, that is the capital of all Edomites. The cup also shall pass through unto you. So Edom got a part of that cup to rule, which is this last time. Thou shalt be drunken and shalt make thyself naked. That's what Revelation 17 is all about. The drunken woman who sit upon many waters is Edom. The punishment of thine iniquity is accomplished. O daughter of Zion, we've met and received the last bit of our punishment. He will no more carry thee away into captivity. He will visit thine iniquity, O daughter of Edom. He will discover thy sins. So who took us into captivity? Edom. You see that? We were carried away in captivity by Edom, so-called white man. Let's go back to Matthew. Don't be sad now. Fix your face. Fix your face. It's only the truth. Can't get mad at the truth. Fix your faces. All right. So let's drop down. It says, Let both grow together unto the harvest, and in the time of harvest I will say to the reapers, gather ye together, first the tares, and bind them in bundles to burn them. Who are the tares trying to blend in with Israel? Esau. But gather the wheat into my barn. Okay, let's drop down. Let's drop down to 38. And it says, the field is the world. Let's start at 37. It says, he answered and said unto them, he that soweth the good seed is the Son of Man. It was the good seed, Jacob, those who have the Spirit of Christ. The field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom, but the tares are the children of the wicked one. Okay, so the tares are the children of the wicked one. The enemy that sold them is the devil. So he's calling who the devil? Esau is the devil, the deceiver. The harvest is the end of the world. So who is going to be the harvest? Jacob. Jacob is the world. And the reapers are the angels. Let's see what's going to happen to Esau. As therefore the tares are gathered and burnt in the fire, so shall it be in the end of this world. What's going to happen to them? Esau is going to fall, and Jacob is going to climb the ladder. 41. The Son of Man shall send forth his angels, and they shall gather out of his kingdom all things that offend, and them which do iniquity. So the angels are coming to take charge of this so-called world and give it back to Israel. And shall cast them into a furnace of fire. All the heathen nations that follow Esau will fall. There shall be wailing and gnashing of teeth. So this is how you know that Esau is the so-called white man. And Jacob are you Negroes, Latinos, and American Indians. So wake up. The time is near.